Save the Semantics, episode 169. It is February 20th, 2022. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I ramble on for a bit about some stuff that I might be interested in, or just my life and how things have been going. It's been a little bit since I last recorded, about 2 weeks. I've been getting pretty busy at work and shit. So, I did want to record something last week because there was a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna be a little late in talking about about a lot of stuff. So I guess bear with me for a bit there. Yeah. So a lot's happened. So there were, trade deadline passed. A lot of big trades happened. Obviously there was the Ben Simmons and James Harden trade that got underway. I feel, and it's way too early to even say, because neither of them have even played for their respective teams or their new teams yet. But I feel like Philly kind of won. In this sense, they kind of got like a good, they got the best deal out of it. First, they got rid of Ben Simmons, because he wasn't playing at all, right? So it just doesn't make sense to continue to have him on the books, and so that he's gone. And I think people, a lot of people are kind of downplaying James Harden. Obviously he hasn't had a great season, but he's still putting up really good numbers. People forget that he was the MVP, not that long ago. It's just that, a lot has happened since then, so it's not all too surprising, but he still has it. It's just that, injuries and everything, he's has got it for him. So, but him paired with Embiid is a pretty pretty tough a duo there for the rest of the league. I feel like Embiid's been playing out of his mind. So yeah, man, I think the Sixers kind of have a bit of a, they got some good stuff going on for them, which is cool and good for them. The Nets, on the other hand, obviously they get, they get, along with Simmons, they also got Seth Curry, which I think is a pretty big plus for them, considering they need shooters. So, big ups to them. And then, whenever Simmons comes on the court, I think that would be a big, upside for them as well. I think there was a lot of pressure on Simmons to be a shot creator for the Sixers when he just wasn't. So, he's in a pretty good position with the Nets where, if he's playing with Kyrie and KD, he doesn't need to do any of that. He can just kind of do his own thing, defend and then facilitate, right? So, yeah, man, obviously, I think why I say Philly is because everything else that comes with Simmons, and Kyrie is already there. There's just a lot of off-court shit that is hindering them right now, and I just don't think that type of thing really carries on, or that doesn't just stop once you kind of, even with the changes that you do get. Kyrie is still there, and he's still not playing in New York, right? I don't know if they're going to change any mandates over there. I haven't heard any updates on that, but it's just he's just had this history in the past, when it was with the Cavs after or before LeBron left, right? I think it was before LeBron left. And then also, with the Celtics too. It was everywhere he goes, there's some shit that follows, and it's just not, you know what I mean? Where there's smoke, there's fire, sort of thing. So I just they are a very talented team for sure, just with those three players in Brooklyn, but I just don't know if that's really gonna last. And considering that, like KD is, if he's able to get healthy, the same kind of goes for Kyrie as well. He's very susceptible to getting injured too. He's very injury prone. So I just don't know. I just don't know. I feel like the Sixers kind of, and they were able to keep a lot of their other really good players, like Tyrese Maxey and uh, what was his name? Who else? Tobias Harris, right? Uh, Matisse Thybulle, like they were able to keep a lot of those like, key players on that team, which is good. Um, Now they just have now they add a pretty much a former MVP caliber player to the mix, and I feel like they're pretty good to go. So I kind of like it more for the Sixers than I do for the Nets in a sense, right there. I also like I also like the Sixers team better than the Nets. I just would rather, like, if if the teams are in contention for a championship, which they are, I would rather root for the Sixers than I would for the Nets, and just from my opinion. So I think maybe I have a little bias there. So yeah, that's that. A lot of other trades happened, but it's already been like 2 weeks, so I'm a little late to the party to talk about those things. And yeah, there's I don't really have that much more on that. Other NBA topics. It is the All-Star weekend this weekend. Later tonight, it's going to be the All-Star game. I'll probably be tuning into that for a little bit. Just want to see the stars play together. That'll be fun for a little bit. The game, the game's never really, it's always, it's an exhibition game. It's not really meant to be taken too seriously. So, whatever. It's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I did not really catch. I watched like a very brief moment of like the 3-point contest. And outside of that, I didn't watch anything else. Like, I heard the slam dunk contest was pretty bad. Like, I didn't watch it. I was kind of, I was doing something else last night, and so when I was trying to when I went to RNBA, I was trying to look for, you would kind of expect dunks to kind of be, dunks from the slam dunk contest to be kind of on like the front page of the NBA subreddit, but no, there's nothing. It's just there's Karl Anthony Towns winning the 3-point contest, which is great. That's awesome. Great to hear for him. And then people complaining about, I guess there was like a moment in the show where Steph and Ayesha Curry were like promoting their new reality show or some shit like that. What's funny? I was watching the broadcast, and I think they just finished like the skills challenge or something, and they were just about to show them like present this thing, and like I was like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this is, so I just kind of turned it off. But apparently it was like worse than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know what it was gonna be, really. I thought I expected it to be some kind of sort of like cross promotional thing, but man, to have that in just like the middle of like the fucking, I didn't watch any of it. I don't want to watch it. Like it's all the comments are like, oh man, this is just kind of embarrassing and cringy and shit. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Like, I'm good on that. I'm gonna get like secondhand embarrassment for everybody involved. But yeah, it's it seemed like it was a pretty bad ordeal, so I did not catch it. So yeah, what was I saying? Front page of the NBA subreddit, nothing on the dunk contest. And I had to scroll down a bit, and then there's just people being like, is this the worst slam dunk contest of all time? I'm like, there it is. All right. So it was pretty bad then. So I guess I didn't really miss out on much. But that's unfortunate, man. I think last year it wasn't. I didn't even really watch anything from last year at last year's, NBA like All-Star weekend, so I can't really comment. But yeah, I didn't really tune in, so, but I guess I really wasn't missing much. So yeah, I don't know. There's definitely like questions of like the type of product they're putting out in terms of like the what they're showing to fans and everything like that. Apparently tickets costed like $500. Like, damn, dude. Fuck. It's people got robbed for that. So yeah, that's that. I'm excited. I've kind of tuned out basketball for a little bit recently, at least these last couple of weeks. Like, obviously I'll check the scores and whatnot, and maybe watch some highlights, but not a whole lot of actually watching the games. Warriors have been kind of they were doing really good up until a certain point, but then they lost like 2 games after that, 2-3 games after. So yeah, I think this break kind of came at like a pretty good time. I think it's just good for the league in general just to take that break in between, but yeah, I'm waiting for the I'm waiting for the postseason. I think it's once you kind of reach the halfway point, it's time to really get things rolling. I think the East is still wide open, so I think it's gonna get competitive. It's gonna be competitive up until the very end of the regular season. What the West is a little more intact in terms of the standings, like Suns, Warriors, and then like Grizzlies or Jazz in the 3 and 4 position, and then kind of everybody else afterwards. So there's gonna be there's definitely gonna be competition in there for sure, but yeah, man, a little tuned out right now. Also, I've just been busy with stuff, so I haven't really had the energy, I guess, to really watch a whole lot or pay attention to a ton of basketball. Other news. This was on my birthday, which is on the 9th. The Nintendo Direct happened at that time. Damn it really was like almost 2 weeks ago. And I was very happy to see that Xenoblade 3 was announced. That really that made it for me. That was basically my birthday gift, which is awesome. And it's coming out later this year in September, and I can't wait for that shit. I've been watching I've been rewatching some like people play through the first 2 Xenoblade games, just kind of in anticipation of 3. I've held off on watching kind of like trailer analysis videos, because I feel like I don't want to give too much away from myself. I like to kind of be kept in the dark on the plot details and even the character details. Like I just want to kind of experience it on my own going through the game. So no deep analysis or anything like that. I know there's a lot of people that are super excited and super into that and like theorizing and all that shit. I'm just like, I'm gonna wait until the game comes out, and then I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna enjoy it kind of at my own speed. And I'm really excited, man. They talked about how they were the story is essentially, or the story and the setting is combining that of the worlds of the first and second games, and I kind of want to just leave it at that for myself. I know they've put up some more information on like the official website, characters and kind of some plot details, but I'm just kind of staying away from that so I can kind of, get some excitement while actually playing through the game. So yeah, man, that's really not that far, really. It's considering that some announcements that are made in a direct or whatever, they announce it like 2-3 years in advance, but no, it's this year, so I'm really happy. And we're getting Breath of the Wild 2 later, probably towards Christmas. Oh man, it's gonna be a good year, man, for gaming. I haven't personally played a ton of like I haven't really gone back into SMT recently. I hit a bit of a wall with kind of the last bosses there, so I haven't really gone back in recently. And so I've just been playing like Smash and Slay the Spire and Rocket League. So technically I'm still, gaming or whatever, but I just haven't gone back into Shin Megami. So maybe I'll do that. We'll see when I'm in the mood. And then I just know I'm just not. There's certain points with like JRPGs and stuff where you hit like a wall. You just kind of need to take a break because like there's a certain point in the game right now where I don't really want to grind because it's just the experience that you get from grinding is not that much, so I would just be kind of going through it. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's worth it just to kind of continue with the story and everything and finish it off. But yeah, I've also thought of getting the Xenoblade the Chronicles, the definitive edition, just to kind of play that on my own. But I don't know. Again, just time and everything, time and energy. That's just really the main thing that just kind of gets in the way for me. But I'm excited. I'm really happy, man. That was a really nice treat that I got on my birthday. So I'm really excited for that. Kirby seems like a lot of fun too. I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up. I think they're definitely. It looks like they're kind of borrowing some elements from Mario Odyssey, which is cool. That's an incredible game. I kind of want to play through that again, sometime, just because it's just such a well-made game. But I think it definitely takes some elements of like using Kirby's ability to like copy and then using those abilities to like solve puzzles and that sort of thing. So it looks fun. It's super colorful. It's super like cutesy. It looks really fun. So that's that. And what else? They announced like a good amount of stuff. They announced Switch Sports. I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up. To be completely honest, I don't. I spent so many hours when I had my Wii, or I still have it, but I just haven't I haven't used it. But I put in so many hours into like Wii Sports Resort, especially. Just it was that was kind of like it was kind of one of those games for me. Kind of like in middle school and stuff. I just played it so much. I like got to like, I don't remember exactly what the levels were, but you get like you're like intermediate and then you're like advanced or something once you start like beating AI opponents or whatever. So I did all of that for like all the sports. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But I don't know if I'm gonna pick up the Switch Sports. I just don't know. I don't think I'm gonna spend the time playing it really. Most of the time I also spend with handheld mode too, just because it's convenient. I like to game and like listen to like a podcast or whatever. So I don't really think I'm gonna like put it on like the full TV display to play it. So Yeah, I'm probably gonna hold off on buying that, but it seems fun. I think it'll be fun for kids and stuff, and maybe other people will get some enjoyment out of it as well. So that's that. They announced. I don't have Mario Kart, but I know they announced like a bunch of new courses that they're gonna release at different periods of time. So that's cool, I guess. I don't really have that much of an opinion on that. But again, super excited for 3. I think it looks really cool. I really like the character designs. I really like kind of the. I think they took. I mean, it's really hard to say because it's just the trailer, so it doesn't really give too much. Like, I mean, it gives a good amount of stuff away in terms of sort of the who is going to be in it, who might be returning characters or whatnot. But I think that it seems like they've taken some of the criticisms maybe of 2 and kind of include and kind of maybe it's hoping to kind of improve on 3. There's a lot of people I feel kind of like on Twitter and stuff that are talking about I think the biggest complaint about 2 is the character designs, and that's one of my complaints as well. It's just it's so jarring to look at, especially with like Pyra. Mithra's, I don't think Mithra's design is really that bad. Like once you give like her the tights, her like tights, like it's not as bad. But I think I don't really like care for Pyra's design. It's not cool. I don't really think it's that cool. Like it's just not like like obviously it's like revealing and shit, but I just don't really care for it all too much. It just doesn't really it doesn't really it doesn't really what's the word? It doesn't really reflect her personality as well, right? Like she's much more of like a kind and like a sweet person, and then you give her these like fucking tight skin like clothes. Like I mean it's fine. It's not like that big of a deal, but I just wish that some of the proportions are a little ridiculous. So and some of like the anime tropey moments during the second game can be a little annoying for sure, and that definitely did not translate well in English. And I mean I wasn't a fan of it in Japanese either. Like it's just kind of like not really my cup of tea, like that sense of humor. So I like the first game has its funny moments for sure, but I think just kind of the tone is a little more consistent maybe across the board, if that makes sense. And 2 feels like it's going kind of pretty full anime, but just like some of it just includes some of that stuff about anime that I don't really care about too much. So if they kind of take a little bit of that away, still include humor for sure. Like there's a lot of lighthearted moments in these games, but I just think taking away some of those elements would be I think a benefit. And so far it kind of looks to be that way, and I think the choices with like the character designs and everything like that kind of reflect that. So it looks really good, and I'm excited. And once that's going to be a day 1 purchase for me for sure, 100%. So yeah, looking forward to that. And that's probably going to do it for this episode. This has been Save the Semantics, signing off.